Right, it's been a week since I've been down the garage, and Saturday today, so I've got the whole day to spend down here. Because they're closing at 2 o'clock, I get to use the ramp after then, which I've got some work to do underneath. I'll show you what I've bought. So to begin with, I've bought a new water pump. The old one's leaking, so this hopefully should do the trick. Also importantly is I needed a track rod in. I could have got away with just changing the rubber on the old one. That just seemed more hassle than buying a new one. So it's, as I say, the old one, it was just a rubber that was split, so I'm going to change that. Also the steering gaiters were split on both sides, so I've bought new ones of those. I bought a full set of brackets for the exhaust as well, which I'll get to do when I get the car onto the ramp. And other than that, a couple of windscreen wipers as well. So I'm hoping in the time I spend here today, I'll get to finish and do all these bits. Somehow I doubt it, but let's give it a go. So the first job I thought I'd tackle would be to change the water pump. And to do that, I've got to remove the radiator, and before I do that, I've got to empty all the fluids out of the cooling system, and then remove the radiator, and then slacken off the alternator and get to the water pump. Alright, that's the radiator. I'm just trying to slip it out without having to move the Kenlo fan if possible. Right, now I've got visible access to the water pump, which is here. And you might be able to see down here where it's leaking from underneath there somewhere and running down here on the say the timing chain cover. It's a shame I didn't spot that earlier on, because I have had the radiator off before. It would have been easier to have done it in the beginning, but nevertheless I'm here now. So all I've got to do is slacken off this alternator so I can take away the belt, and actually in actual fact I have to remove the alternator altogether, because one of the bolts goes through the water pump onto the alternator. Undo this hose as well, and then I should be free to remove the water pump. Just lost a washer. Alright, so there's the fan belt off. I've just got to free that up from there as well. Right, I've got the old water pump off, and for some reason it's got this black gunge in there. I don't know what that's about, and I could see, you can see it here. This hole underneath here is where it's been leaking from, and I think someone's had a go at trying to make some sort of a makeshift repair on it with this black gunge. So yeah, that's getting changed. I've just cleaned up the whole area here for where the new pump is going to go, cleaning off any sort of residue of old gasket to make sure that there's a nice clean fit before I put the new one on. I know the battery ran out on my camera just then, but so if it didn't catch it, basically what I've done is I've added gasket sealer to both sides of the gasket, one on the body of the pump and then the other side of the gasket too, so now that's ready to go in. The other thing I forgot to mention is when you're doing jobs like this, you've got to watch out for different size bolts, and in this case I've got 3 different size bolts. These 2 are the same here, but these 2 are different, so I've kept them in the order that they came off. So in other words, those 2 are the ones that go on the top and those 2 go on the bottom, so I know I'm putting the right screws in the right place. So now I'm ready to put the pump in. Right, so water pump fitted, radiator's been fitted in as well. I've run it and tested it for a few minutes and everything is bone dry, so that's one good job done, and just another thing that makes the car a bit better again. All that leaves me now is to do the track rod ends and the steering gaiters as well. I think I'll get onto those next. So here is why I'm changing the track rod end. As I say, the rubber here is split. You can buy new boots for them, but it just doesn't seem to make sense for the price of these things, which is so cheap. I might as well just change the whole unit. And at the same time, I might be able to show you here if there's enough light in there so that you can see the steering gaiter is completely split into 2 pieces. So I've ordered a pair of those, and I'll do the one on the other side, which has got a smaller split, but I still need to do it in any case. Wrong way. That's it. And what can happen is you think you're undoing the nut, but the ball joint itself is spinning, but in this case I seem to have been lucky and it's coming off quite fine. That's the old one off. And here is the new one. I'm just comparing them to size. I'm hoping that I'll wind this one on to where the nut is, and the steering will stay in, well, steering will still be working fine basically. That's what I'm hoping for. But while I've got the track rod end off, now's a good chance for me to take off this rubber boot and slip the new one on as well. Okay, so that's the end of another day, and been a good and productive day. I've managed to fit a water pump, the gaiters on the steering, I've done a track rod end, I've done the exhaust clamps as well. Is there anything else? I think that's it, unless I've done one, I can forget about it. But I've had a good day, and it's now kind of just ready to take for a test drive, and that's what we'll do next. Does at the top. Yeah. Really running lovely now. I've managed to get the idle down to just under 1,000, and it's running really smoothly. It starts on the button without even needing to put your foot on the accelerator at all. That's really cold. So I think I kind of did a good job with the carburetors in the end, considering I didn't know much about them, but I did a lot of research. I think all that's left now, I've got to sort out something on the driver's door because it's not opening from the inside. That's probably a silly little thing, and I don't know what else. I've pretty much done with it. The handbrake cable, I need to look at that, check that handbrake cable a little bit, because that's not holding the back wheels as it should. That could be shoes or could be cable adjustment. I have tried adjusting the cable, but that didn't seem to help much, so maybe the cable's stretched up. Heard that they can do so as well. Other than that, no, the car drives exactly how I want it to drive. It's smooth, it's lovely, and despite the bodywork, it's a great little car. I mean, I took it down to the top there and back, and the guy pulled out his mobile phone and wanted to photograph it. It's that nice. It's one of those cars that makes people smile, and that's what these fun little cars are all about. Having said that, I've jumped ahead of myself, and the plan was always sell this, make a little bit on it. Like I said, I'm not going to be greedy, and then use all that money and go and buy another car, a better car, and see if I can trade my way up. Unfortunately, for my wife, I couldn't wait, so I bought myself another car. And what I bought is beautiful, it's stunning, it's a childhood dream, it's the car of most blokes my age, their dream as well. I've gone and bought a TR6, 1973, 150 brake horsepower fuel injection model. Beautiful, in mustard yellow or something like that, whatever it is. Beautiful, stunning looking car. It's just, the lines are gorgeous on it, the styling, everything. It's, when you think of classic cars, people think of things like little MGs and things like that, but TR6, classic car, true classic car. It's up there with the big boys, that one. And I bought that one, much to my wife's dismay, but she's going to have to trust me on this one. That's now at my son's garage in Chelmsford. I'll be there tomorrow to start tinkering about. I haven't had a chance to do anything to it. I've had it a few days, haven't had a chance to do anything yet, but tomorrow I'll spend the day on it and formally introduce myself to my car. Meanwhile, I'll just take it down to the bottom of the strip there and back again so you can see how it drives. So there you have it. Very, very pleased. Feel like I could drive this car to Southend and back. To you guys in America, that wouldn't mean much, but to me it means a lot. To us Essex boys, that means a lot. Great fun, beautiful sound. Pinking slightly, I think that's the timing. I've got to have a look at the timing once again. Other than that, I think that's it. I don't think there's any more for me to do with this car. As always, thanks for watching. There's some of you who've been regulars and making comments and things like that. It's always appreciated. I do like to sort of see the comments and I like the interaction, and I've had some great advice from some of you guys as well, because I don't know it all. I'm learning as I go along, so it has been helpful. And hopefully I will be starting my new channel or my new program series, whatever you want to call it, load of crap, with the TR6, and perhaps tomorrow when I go down to the garage down there, my son's, I'll do a quick little video and a tour of the new car that I've got.